Club from far afield arrives with trepidation in the city of the marches. The non-league Hereford of old forged a league future out of occasions such as this. Now though, following a skirmish with today's visitors that went against them 6 months ago, the Bulls are back in their former pastures. This is the next chapter in the saga of two clubs existing on football's poverty line. 7 of the players who saved Brighton from possible oblivion here in May turn out again. They're without their regular goalkeeper Mark Ormerod, who twisted his ankle in training. Mark Morris, the former Wimbledon centre-back, has flu. Craig Maskell is one of 5 men transfer listed simply because the club can't afford their wages. And Kerry Mayo is the player whose own goal here so nearly kept Hereford in the league. Only De Bont, Warner and McGorry survived from Hereford's May Day. They've stayed full-time, but the players recently went 6 weeks without being paid. Striker Neil Grayson is the only player to cost a fee, and with 7 men injured or unavailable, youth team coach Keith Downing is on a fairly crowded bench. Away. Lively start by Ian Foster. It's a sign of quickly changing times in football that 3.5 years ago Graham Turner was in charge of FA Cup quarter-finalist Wolves, and Steve Gritt at the same stage of the competition was in charge of Charlton. Storer. Missed by Fishlock. This is Westcott's. Fishlock just got a toe to the ball, and Craig Maskell had the effort on goal. Ball whistled towards him, had to readjust his position, and the keeper was stranded. The ball is Pittman, and he should have found his colleague Grayson. Ball had gone, and the lunge took the legs from beneath Craig Maskell. Paul MacDonald has the responsibility. Andy De Bont is unhappy with the positioning of the ball on the spot. That will just create a little bit more uncertainty and tension in the penalty taker's mind. Think of what's riding on this kick. The financial plight of both sides involved, the possibility of a lucrative cup run, and a wonderful save by De Bont. As penalty saves go, that was out of the very top drawer. Look how far he had to go. Terrific stop. MacDonald's kick. Allen. Any clearance would do. It ultimately came from Warner. Fishlock. 3 waiting for the cross. Jamie Pittman back heel. Grayson gaping net. 1-0 to the non-leaguers. They've been threatening it ever since the penalty save. And now the goal to a tumultuous roar has finally arrived in the best Edgar Street Cup traditions. The goalkeeper stranded, and the leading scorer, Neil Grayson, at the age of 33, scores his first ever goal in the FA Cup. The sort of tale with which the Cup abounds and for which it's famous. Penny for Steve Gritt's thoughts now. Paul MacDonald failed with the penalty. What can he create from this corner? Oh, goalkeeper lost it! And it's in by Stuart Storer. From despair to delight. And the lead lasted for barely 4 minutes. MacDonald will feel a good deal better now. Goalkeeper came and didn't collect, and from that moment on, despite the quality of the finish, Hereford were always going to be struggling. Stuart Storer, 1-1. This is Foster, 2 in the centre. McHugh! Oh dear. If Hereford don't win this tie, then James McHugh will relive that moment over and over again. The close attentions of a defender made it difficult for him, but he couldn't get his foot over the ball. Twice James McHugh has gone close in the space of barely a minute. Fishlock. On by McHugh to Foster. Was he held off the ball by Smith? There's some shirt pulling going on. It's a penalty. Peter Smith penalised for trying to swap shirts with Ian Foster. And I have to say, this looked like a potential penalty from some distance out. From that angle it wasn't quite as clear perhaps as the view that the referee had. And so it falls to Neil Grayson, who scored once already, who'd never scored in the Cup prior to today, and who has now emphatically got two for Hereford, who are back in front. Very little subtlety about the kick. In fact, it nearly removed the rigging of the stanchion. Powerful and accurate. Good times are back at Hereford. 6 months ago it was despair for Hereford and great joy for Brighton. Today for Steve Gritz and for Graham Turner, the roles are reversed. Andy Devont, with his penalty save, made sure that Hereford had a platform on which to build, and then in steps Neil Grayson with a brace of goals, his first ever in the FA Cup at the relatively venerable age of 33 for a footballer. In their first incarnation as a non-league club, Hereford knocked out 7 league teams. Well, now they're at it again, and whilst it could never make up for losing their league status, at least the good footballing folk of Hereford have reason to feel bullish once again.